Well, my background is a little unusual in that I grew up as with parents that were missionaries in China. They were in North China during the Japanese occupation, and the nationalist government cut the dikes along the Yellow River and flooded millions of acres of productive agricultural land, and there was widespread famine when I was 8 and 9 years of age. I didn't get involved directly in the famine care, but it was very much a conversation at the dining table, and that's one of my interests, long-term interest in hunger and malnutrition. It took me a while to figure out what I was going to do with my life, and I ended up going to medical school. I was a freshman medical student at Baylor College of Medicine, and I dropped out for a year to do a graduate work with Dr. Roger Gilliman, who later got the Nobel Prize in endocrinology. This gave me a great deal of insight into laboratory work, and I've ended up doing laboratory work ever since, as well as clinical responsibilities. When I was doing my master's degree at Baylor College of Medicine, I was doing steroid analysis in the laboratory of Dr. George Clayton, the pediatric endocrinologist. And he came looking for me. He came to New Haven in the middle of a blizzard, hiking in from the train station. He offered me the associate directorship of the Children's Clinical Research Center at Texas Children's Hospital. I was offered a similar job at several other places, but the intellectual freedom at Baylor College of Medicine was attractive, and I moved. My 50% job was running the house staff at Texas Children's Hospital, which I did from 1964 to 1970. In 1970, I was recognized as the first chief of pediatric nutrition and gastroenterology at Texas Children's Hospital. My earliest research was on normal growth of body composition. I was very interested in the regulation of lean body mass, and this led to intense studies on tissue potassium metabolism. Measuring whole body potassium is one way to measure lean body mass, and of course you can then calculate adipose tissue mass. I collaborated with Dr. John Waterlow at the University of West Indies in a study where we compared muscle potassium with total body potassium and showed that in children recovering from severe malnutrition, they tracked in a parallel way, and this in essence was calibrating the value of muscle potassium analysis. Beginning in 1970, when I was appointed Chief of Nutrition and Gastroenterology at Texas Children's Hospital, we had had some success with total parenteral nutrition. This was very life-saving in small children with chronic carbohydrate malabsorption. And it was expanded to other patients at Texas Children's Hospital, including patients with severe terminal gastrointestinal carcinomas. The grandfather of one of our patients happened to be the senator from Texas, Lloyd Bentsen. Lloyd Bentsen invited me to come to a private hearing in the Senate concerning the requested Children's Nutrition Research Center. He spoke about our TPN care of his granddaughter. He cried and expressed his appreciation for Texas Children's Hospital and the service of nutrition support. And strangely enough, we got the appropriations approved by the Senate and soon by the House. In the House side, the broad support was from the Texas delegation. All the members of the 23-membered Texas delegation in the House voted and supported the Nutrition Research Center. I was the director of the Children's Nutrition Research Center from its inception until 1992, when I stepped down to return to the laboratory. The design of the building was with a cadre of scientists that were already working in the center, and they drove the design of the building. It reflects the programmatic priorities of the center completely. Now, the outside of the building is different from most of the modern buildings in Houston in that it's not covered with mirrored glass. It's covered instead with granite. The granite is taken from a quarry in central Texas. It's the same granite as the state capitol. And this granite makes a statement about the complete support of the Children's Nutrition Research Center by the Texas delegation in the House and Senate in Washington. And it recognizes their total support of the program. The stars were added as a compromise. Being Texas granite, it was thought that perhaps we should have a lone star. But in discussion with the architects for the Agriculture Research Service, it was pointed out that this was a national facility and we couldn't have just a lone star. So we have 8 stars. Each one of these are lit at night. But these 8 stars recognize the very stellar role that women have had in the nutrition research at Texas Children's Hospital, Baylor College of Medicine, and the CNRC. And in that regard, I'm very proud of one of my former fellows, Dr. Teresa Davis, who's now president-elect and who spent her academic years at the Children's Nutrition Research Center and is now serving nationally.